Okay, so my buddy Duncan recently DM'd a one-shot type campaign um, where we were all playing as dwarves, and it was very Minds of Moria-esque. But this is like his first, D&D game that he's ever DM'd for. So we're all trying to make our dwarves unique and everything, and he's giving us the story, and he's getting really involved into it, trying to um, make it as unique as possible because this story's been done, I'm sure, like 1,000 fucking times. Um, so the whole thing is that the dwarves have this huge, like, again, Mines of Moria uh, cavern system of, it's just like tunnels going every which way in this mountain, and they're all huge, and they all get expanded upon. Workers take shifts, everything like that. The veteran workers, their families get to live on the outside, where as like the newbies and the kind of on call 24-hour kind of miners and some of the veterans who don't really have families kind of live inside the mine, and they kind of build houses and shit in there, so on and so forth, right? And so basically, what happens is they come across this this alcove where they find this giant like opal, and they're trying to figure out what an opal's doing. It's like perfectly round opal, and they're trying to figure out what it's doing, like so far down into these mines and so far out, because apparently it's not just the one mountain. Like, the mines stretch into multiple mountains, right? Once you get a certain ways down, they kind of stretch outwards and go on from there. And this place, there's a series of mountains on the outside. So at the same time, Draugr kind of invade. They break through the opposite side of the hole in the wall of this fucking cavern. Because I don't know. That's what he basically said. Is that Draugr are digging at the same time as the dwarves were, and they they basically punch a hole through the opposite side of this alcove, and basically them and the dwarves get into a huge fight. The Draugr accuse them of encroaching upon their territory. I don't know how that really works underground, but whatever, right? For those who don't know, Draugr are like the pissed off cousins of dwarves. They're kind of assholes. They got gray skin. Not nice dwarves in general. Sorry, Draugrs. They don't like to be called dwarves, even though they're basically off-brand dwarves. I don't care if anybody's touchy about that. To me, they're off-brand dwarves. They're dwarves with gray skin, and they're even more pissed off than regular dwarves, and that's just about the only goddamn difference. So they start getting into fight, right? So here's the thing about these particular dwarven mines, right? The dwarves have this whole security kind of system where the moment shit starts to break out, the moment anything kind of goes wrong, and certain dwarves' lives are at stake, basically there are these golems that come to life that are spread throughout the tunnels, and they're added as the tunnels go forth. They're not fully maintained and upkept, and that'll come into it later. This is actually going to be a multi-part video. That's fine. So the worker dwarves, they're not about to be pushed around. Dwarves are dwarves. They're always down for a fight. And so they start engaging with the Draugr, and then the golems wake up. About half of them do, because there's so many of them by this point that not all of them are upkept, because they're made with, like, I mean, they're golems. They're made from, they're stone golems. They're made from, a certain type of magic where you craft this. I don't really fully know how dwarves custom make their golems. There's probably, stone shapers and stuff like that who do that sort of thing. Brothers of Moradin who, have what do you call it? See, because I used to be able to stone shape and everything with my old dwarven character who was a cleric. But what he was able to do eventually in later levels wasn't shape golems. It was more so like you could summon earth elementals and stuff like that, and soften stone and harden stone and shape it into stuff. And so it's kind of different, but I guess it doesn't really matter too much because this is just the setting of a game. Do you want stone golems to go fucking haywire and get to fight them or not? That's pretty much what it is. So about half of these golems don't activate with this kind of alarm spelling enchantment that comes into play whenever there's lives that are in danger down there. Half of them do. And when they activate, doesn't matter, even if it's one, the Royal Guard is immediately alerted. And so they're basically on their way as well. The golems go down there to assist the miners. And so this is just starting to kind of turn into a clusterfuck because the Draugr, at least in Duncan's game, also have a ace up their sleeve in the way of orc lobotomized slaves. Yeah, no joke.